Hi everyone, another project today. I'm working on my 1976 Ford Fairmont XB hardtop, and I'm trying to get the interior cleaned up just a little bit. These are the door trims out of it. As you can see, the tops have all gone brown over the years from sun damage. So what I'm intending to do is to repaint these door trims. Now, I went and got some colour matched paint mixed up. This is a proper vinyl plastic spray. It's a 1K. It's a perfect match. I have already done one of the armrests just to make sure that it was exactly what it needed to be. I didn't want to spray good door trims and the colour wasn't right, so I tested it on this and it's turned out perfect. I've got another armrest to do. It needs a bit of a wipe down with some wax and grease remover. I've got another door trim over here, which is the passenger side. Now, I had a couple of cracks, small cracks just here, and the sun allows me to get in. Got one here. So what I've done is I've just mixed up some like a 2-part araldite and basically just pushed that into the crack to use that as a filler. I'm just waiting for that to dry. It may not be till tomorrow, so you know, I'm willing to wait because I don't want to ruin this. Because the paint is such a good colour match, I may only need to do these top panels, not the rest of the door trim, because there's nothing wrong with the rest of the door trim. So I've got this one sort of taped up at the moment, and I've just started working on this. So what I've done is I've removed the inside weather strip from each of the doors, door panels, taken out these fairly thick staples, which was a nightmare, but I got them out. Didn't damage anything. It'll go back on the door trim quite well. It's got a slight kink in it, but they are bendable, so that'll go back on there nicely. So the next step for this will be to wipe it down with some wax and grease remover, let that dry for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to hit it with, I've got some plastic primer here. So it's a fast drying adhesion primer. I was told to use this to make sure that once the paint goes on it never comes off, which is what we want. So I got it nice and cheap too. A third of the price, because it's got that little, if you can see it in the camera there, little dot of rust. That was it. So I'll keep going with this, and actually, before we do, I've ordered some new 1/4" 6mm chrome trim. I just have to work out how to get these off. I don't know if somehow they were incorporated into the vinyl somehow, or whether they were just like a 3M adhesive tape thing back in the day. I've got no idea. So I've put a message up on the forum or group page I'm on in relation to these type of cars, and I'm just waiting to see what comes back before I go pulling anything off, because the last thing I want is to tear the vinyl. You know, if it turns out it's better just to leave them on, then I'll leave them on. They're flaking a little bit here and there, but they're not too bad, I guess, for 50 years old. So yeah. Okay, I've just applied the adhesion primer to the top of that door trim, and I've done the same here on this armrest. So we just got to wait, they say 10 minutes for it to dry, and then that's between coats. If you're putting on a second coat, I've been advised, even though the can says 2 coats, I've been advised by some guys who have done it before to only put 1 coat on it, and a very light coat. So that's what I've done. I've got plenty should I have to do it again. So yeah, so after the last coat goes on, I think you wait 25 minutes and then you can give it a coat of top coat. And yeah. Okay, two other items that I painted yesterday was the center pad for a new steering wheel I'm putting on, and this dash pad. This was originally blue and now it's factory chocolate brown, and it's come up really well. I'm very happy with the way this has come up. I'm not going to clear coat it because I think already it's got quite a nice shine, so if I put something on it like armor or protectant or something, that's gonna bring out the shine anyway. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Okay, I'm ready to put the first application on of the paint. Just a light dusting to start with. That's it. Going to give this armrest a coat now, this second armrest. Around this side. Just a slow build up, that's all it is. And I've got to do under the arm as well, but I'll wait till this tacks off and then I'll flip it over. I'll do this one again. And this side. That looks really good. Just come back around here. Okay, that's just a quick dusting for now, and we'll come back in 15 minutes and give her another coat. I've got a small split in the vinyl here, so I've put a bit of contact adhesive in there, just letting it tack off, and then I'll squeeze it together and hide that split. Okay, I'm about to hit it with the second coat now. Let's see if we can cover up all these dark spots. Okay, not bad. One more coat on that, I think, will give me complete coverage. So a few spots here, right along the edges, where the wiper trim, the felt wiper trim used to sit. So I've got to go over that just to hide that, but it won't be seen anyway once the trim goes back on. It just sits a couple of mil over the door trim anyway. But yeah, if you're going to do it, you do it properly, don't you? So we'll get all that hidden in the next coat. Okay, today we got a little job here. We're going to repaint this carpet. So this is the console out of the car. The carpet colour's wrong. This is more of a tan than a dark brown. I can't actually get the brown colour I need to make it a perfect match with what's already inside the car. So we're going to get close. This also looks like it's had some overspray on it, because I bought this console second hand. Well, actually I bought a console second hand with this cover on it. and the actual carcass of the other console was really badly damaged, but the cover was good. So basically I've just rescun this. Still got to have my lid upholstered, but that's getting done in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, we're gonna change the carpet color today. So I'm using the same brown as I used for the dash pad, and we'll see how it comes up. Okay, that's the first coat. As you can see, there's still a stain here, and the carpet's a little rougher here because of where the overspray was, but I'm hoping when these hang down the side of the transmission tunnel it won't be as noticeable. But we'll let that dry and we'll come back, we'll do another coat, and then we'll move on to the other side. Okay, another job I'm going to do today is I'm going to clear coat this steering wheel. It's going to take me a couple of days because I've got to put many coats on it, but we'll make a start today and we'll see how it all comes up. Okay, I'm just about ready to start on this side. I think this side will come up a lot better. The carpet's in a lot better condition around this area here. It's not as I guess the other side looks a little matted from extensive scrubbing, but it was like that before I got it. I think somebody else had a go at trying to get the colour out. The biggest problem with these consoles was, in order to replace the carpet, you've got to remove the entire cover of the console. So it's big bickies if you're getting an upholsterer to do it. So I guess they never figured that this stuff would wear out being on the side of the transmission hump. But yeah. Okay, so here we go. Sorry about that camera work. I'm trying to target the grey first. Whoops. Silly me. Should have taped it down, shouldn't I? There we go. Alright, let's get a nice bit in here. I'm sort of going both ways with the nozzle too, because I find when it hits the pile it sort of soaks in, it sinks in. Especially along there, along that edge, where it sort of butts up against the vinyl. So, a little bit there. You can really see that tan come through if you miss a bit. Alright, we'll let that dry, and we'll come back in 10 minutes and give it another coat. Okay, first coat of clear is on. I have to do this in 2 stages, unfortunately. Unless there was a way I could actually hang it to do it both sides. If I hang it here, the wire ends up either sitting either side of that, and then that doesn't get coated. So yeah, it's a bit of a hard one, this one, but we'll get there. Okay, that's as good as it's going to get, unfortunately. You know, if you push the pole back, you can sort of still see a bit of that tan colour, but yeah, there's just nothing you can do about it. Carpet doesn't like being dyed, it doesn't like being painted. So, but that'll be okay. It's hanging down in the dark footwell, so you shouldn't really notice it. Okay, I sort of had to backpedal on this door trim here. I had a couple of splits in it. I had one, it's actually 2 splits, but in the one spot, and I had one tiny one here. This one seemed to, what I did is I repaired them with clear araldite. So I basically glued them together, filled the crack and smoothed it out, and it came up alright. This one, however, you could still see it, and the paint just wouldn't fill the crack. So what I've had to do is mix up some more araldite and push it right into the crack. I did last time, but I think trying to be super neat, I'd actually pulled some of it out, and that's why you could still see the crack. So So this time I've left it high, as you can see, and what I'll do is when that's dry, I'll just use some very fine sandpaper and just scuff the top off it, and I'll just have to repaint this section of the door trim. Okay, the steering wheel's coming along really nice. It's probably got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 coats of clear on it at the moment. I'm just going to keep going until the can's empty, and I've still got another half a can in the garage should I want to keep going. So yeah, I basically want this to be chip proof, so yeah, it's looking good. Been on a little shopping spree this morning to get the things I need to get to finish the installation or reinstallation of the door trims. So we've ended up getting wiper weather strips for all the outers. So these are for the rear quarter window, these are for the doors. I needed a new one for the passenger side door inner, so I got that, and I also got a scuttle panel rubber. I believe the car had one of these on it from factory, but along the way it's ended up going missing, and I'm replacing it. So yeah, so there's $370 worth of stuff. What a killer. But if you need it, you got to pay for it. Okay, I have repaired the small split that was in this section of the door trim. This is off the passenger side. I wasn't happy with the first round of repairs. There was still a little indentation there. It hadn't completely filled to the top with the araldite, so I added more to it yesterday. I have let it dry overnight. I've come out this morning, used some very fine files to file it back, and I've just given it its first coat, so you can probably see a couple of marks there, but they will eventually go once it's got 6 coats of paint on it. So yeah, this is much better. I can tell already it's much better. So once this is done, then I can take those seals that I've just bought and start fitting them to the insides of the trims. 2 ways to do it. I can either use some stainless steel wire to go in through the old staple holes and twist them, or I can just use pop rivets. So I have used the pop rivet method before on an XC panel van back in the early 90s, and it seemed to work fine. No problem at all. I'm just about to put some of this adhesive promoter onto these 2 rear panels. They'll go in the back of the hardtop, and we're going to give the tops a paint as well, just down to that first crease in the vinyl. I didn't really want to have to do that much, but I don't really have a choice. There's no other way to blend it. I thought about just doing just this top bit here, but it'll be more noticeable having a line here than having a line in the seam here. So I guess that's what we're going with, and just hope it works. Okay, I got that first coat on. Looks really wet at the moment, which it is, so we give that 20 minutes to dry off, and then supposedly we're supposed to give it one more coat and then start painting. I got my clock today. Got it back from the repair guy. Awesome bloke. Repaired it for $60. That was with return postage. So yeah, extremely happy, because I had a quote for $300 and they hadn't even looked at it. So I was right on this. It was the fusible link that blew, a little connector in there. So that's all done. The radio, I'd pulled this apart twice. Cleaned all the heads, all the wheels, got all the dust out, made any repairs I needed to. I had to one small part up the front here in behind this panel that has a wire going to it. I don't know its purpose, but that was broken off, and the aerial wire was a little frayed at the back, so I fixed that as well. I've also made a panel to go in to hold the stereo. I only really had this lower right hand bolt or screw to hold it in, and the back screw or bolt, because the plastic clips that should be molded into the dashboard for the top two are broken. So what I did is I fashioned a bracket off an original one, and rather than it screwing directly into where those missing tabs would be, I put tabs on the side here so I can actually screw in through the sides. Visually from the front, it'll look like it's done right, but there's still a fascia plate to go over this, so none of that will be seen anyway. So yeah, nice little modification there. And I also got today some, sorry for the camera work there guys, I just got to get these out of the box. So I got these extremely rare as rocking horse shit clips for the rocker sill panel. These ones are two off mine. This one's sort of really in good nick, and as you can see, this one is missing two of the tabs off the bottom, and it's missing the middle tab out of the center here. So I've got these are not 3D printed from what I've been told. These were actually a proper injection mold, so they shouldn't snap, because I've heard that some of the 3D ones that are made, you know, if you slightly flex them at all, they'll snap, where these ones being injection molded won't snap. Picked up some curved needles as well, and some thread. I've got a few frays. Sorry about the bad lighting in here guys, but I've got a few frays in this seat. They're all on the piping. Now the trimmer that I've used in the past for my hot rods quoted to do this and the back part. Wanted $3,500. I know this fabric here is not cheap. The vinyl's not bad, but this this basket mesh weave material is not cheap, and then obviously has all the piping on top of that. There's a company in South Australia called Winner Products, and they do the base and back cover for 2.2. So I think I'm going to go that way. Go 2.2. I can buy a hog ring kit for about $50–60, and I'll put the new covers on myself. So that will save me, God knows what, I don't know, probably $1,500 all said and done, maybe more, because I've got a small repair to do on the front too as well, but I'll take you out and we'll have a look. Just on our way to the garage, these are the rear panel weather strips that I've just painted, or just put the adhesion promoter on. As you can see, in spots they were broken. They weren't bad, like the felt's still very nice and soft, but there was a piece missing out of the front of this one, and then I'm not sure which one, this back one here is split, so I've decided to get new ones of those. I already have those, so we'll put those on once the door trims are sprayed. So here we go, we wander in here. As you can see, the rocker mold is off the car at the moment. So I'm going to remove all those old clips and keep the ones that are really good, and any that are broken and I guess non-usable anymore will go in the bin. So let's get the light on in here. Again, it's dark in here, I know. Not sure how much of this you'll see, but I've just sat a dash pad in. It's not pushed down, it's not pushed in, it's not screwed in, nothing. It's just sitting there. I just wanted to see what the how the colour was in regards to the lower half of the dash, because the lower half of the dash is trimmed in vinyl, and this is, I guess, vulcanized vinyl, I guess they call it. I'm not sure, but yeah, the colour's not bad. I'm pretty happy with it. Another little project that I'm doing is I've got retractable seat belts for this, but if you can see through the rear screen here where that piece of old tape used to be, there's some raised platforms there. You've got to that's where the retractables mount. Further into the corner there is where the non-retractable belts mount. So what I've done is I've marked where I need to drill the hole in that on both sides, and I've made up some plates to go underneath, so they're 6mm, 1/4 inch, and they'll get put in underneath, so that that passes all the specs that you need to make it legal. These are the retractable belts here. I've just given the bodies a little bit of a paint up. There is some plastic caps that go over the top of them to basically shield the seat belt from I guess dust and maybe sun, I guess sun fading. They're actually in the sink getting washed at the moment. Got these 4 little pins up here, so these will go into those rear side panels that I'm painting at the moment. As you can see, I've painted them in the parchment colour. So that's another little job. Lots of little jobs this week, guys. I've made up a couple of these tabs. Have to be painted yet, but these are going to be what hold the rear of the parcel shelf up. They've got a tendency to rust out along the back there. Whoops, a bit of ducting. So yeah, all I've done is I've just made these a little bit longer, which will allow me to either JB weld these in to the panel or onto the panel, or I can drill and put a pop rivet in it, and then that will replace the 2 that have broken off due to rust. So that got done as well. What else do we get up to? These sills, rocker trim sills, whatever you want to call them, rocker sill trims. I've repainted the black stripe in both of them. I just need to polish them now. So that got done. What else? Got this really nice 2.5 to 3 inch exhaust tip. I've got the one that's cut on an angle because I want that to basically blend in with the roll pan down there. So I'm 3/4 of the way through cutting that pipe off, but my grinder blade just won't reach the top of the pipe, so I'm going to have to drop the exhaust system from the muffler hanger to get it down low enough so I can run the blade through it. But this is really nice. Stainless steel. It's a double skin, so that's probably going to last forever, which is great. Let me see, what else did we do, guys? I've probably come out here to show you something and forgotten it. Oh, we've got a solenoid now hooked up again after 40, let's say 45 years of not having one, after it originally had one from factory. So this is all done now. The switch has been put in to the side cover on the side of the dash. Tried to find a switch that was very close to the original switch that would have been put in this car 50 years ago, which is near impossible, but I found something that's really nice, really classy, and is the same size hole. So I didn't have to drill anything or close anything up. Now, at the moment, excuse this is just some gaskets for these rear quarters. doesn't matter what you put on there, I guess. You know, no one's going to see behind it. So yeah, if you can save $40 on a set of gaskets, why not? So this is the super plush pile carpet that I bought the other week. I'm just doing a bit of a trial fit at the moment. Looks very classy. It's very soft. I'm replacing some underlay in places that probably had it once upon a time, but for some reason now no longer have it. The carpet had been replaced once before in this car back in the late 80s, so the underlay may have come out then, but as you can see, I'm just using a bit of this this underlay here. This is what they use on floating floorboards, laminate floorboards. It's good enough, you know. Again, it's not seen once the seat goes in, so you know, all the purists can't have a crack at you and say, you've got the wrong underlay in there. It doesn't matter, I've got the wrong carpet in there, because it should be loop pile, but I wanted super plush, and I deserve it, and the car deserves it, so we're going with super plush here. I'm still waiting on some paint for this roof lining coming from Western Australia. Now it's with a well-known courier transport company. It got sent on the 27th. It's now the, what is today? Today is the 9th of September. So we're going on nearly 2 weeks, and I've checked the tracking number and it says it's delayed. So I can't really put anything back in here until this gets painted. As you can see, there's water stains and all sorts of stuff on the roof. It's just how it is after 50 years, but it will clean up nice. So I want to get that painted before anything else goes back inside the car. So the carpet will come back out, the dash pad will come back out, everything will get masked up, drop sheets, the whole lot. So yeah, I've got new courtesy lights to go in, but until the roof lining is painted, I'm not disconnecting these ones, because if the plug slips back inside the hole, it's going to be a nightmare to get it out. So yeah, I'll just put a plastic bag over these ones and spray around them. Those little tabs that I was showing you before, as you can see here, these are the tabs that hold the back of the parcel shelf up. I've got 2 over here that have broken off due to rust. So these are the ones that are going to be replaced. The tab is longer, so the tab will come down here and will get fastened here. Basically, these were just punched out with a punch, and yeah, it created the flaps. So and that's all good. What else in here? I'll probably wait till tomorrow when I get the car out and I can film it a bit better, but I was going to show you some stuff in regards to the stereo system. So now we have the CD player that mounts in the console that is now running off all 4 speakers in the car, and the original head unit or stereo radio cassette that is only running off the front 2 speakers, because it's more or less just there as an ornamental piece. It's not really useful for anything, because 1, I don't carry compact cassettes around these days, and 2, you can't get AM radio anymore. So yeah, there's some door gaskets I've put on. So yeah, just some reasonably thick plastic and some gaffer tape, and it works just as good. I know people will say, oh, you're a bodgy bastard, but you know what, it doesn't matter. Save $40 there. I actually saved 80 on those seatbelt reinforcement plates, because they're $39 each, and I had the 1/4 inch plate here for my Studebaker, and I had some nuts here, seatbelt nuts, so it's cost me nothing. So just on those 2 items I've saved $120, which pays for something else. Yeah, I'm gonna buy some new new, what do they call them, scuff panels, So that'll pay for them, and I don't know, there'll be something else. These things, I think, these rubbers for the B-pillar. So I've paid for two things there by saving some cash. Okay, these are my bucket seats. So this is the driver's side. As you can see, that is, I've seen worse, but yeah, that's probably the worst of the two seats. At some stage it's had some tape put over it to obviously stop it fraying. So I'm going to try and sew that up the best I can without making a mess. And this one's not as bad. This isn't as wide. I think this is only 20 millimeters wide. That one's 60 millimeters wide. So we'll try and sew this up as well. The rest of the seats are pristine. I've always had seat covers on them. This is where the seat belt sort of cuts across, but even with seat covers on it, just that friction of the seat cover rubbing back and forward, that's what wears them out. So we'll fix those up, and they should look alright. We've got the old parcel shelf here, an old original one. As you can see, it's had its day. I've got a new one. It's a fiberglass replica, which will last forever, and especially being in the parcel shelf area, these rear window rubbers have a tendency to leak. That's why those tabs are missing. And you can see, obviously, at some stage we've had some sort of water running down here. The white stuff is probably polish, because the car's had probably one decent cut. God, it's nearly 20 years ago now, and I'd say this is all that white stuff is the residue from the cutting compound, and somehow it's just worked its way in through the seal there. So we've got a fiberglass one to go in. It won't have the speaker holes cut out because my speakers can't actually go down into the parcel shelf because of the LPG tank there. So my speakers sit on some homemade blocks. So they sort of sit flush. They sort of sit flush on the parcel shelf like that. So I won't have to cut those speaker holes out. I'll only have to drill a single hole on this side and a single hole on that side for the seatbelt bolt to go through, and that's it. So I can keep the parcel shelf pretty clean. It's one of them things, you know, should I toss it out? It's really no good, it's broken, I'll never use it again for anything. But then it's, you know, it's part of the car's history, you know. Do you just put it into storage and leave it, or what do you do? I don't know. We'll work that out at a later stage. So where are we now? There's the old carpet down there. So I'm guessing over the next week or two, if this roof lining spray paint turns up, I should be able to get the entire interior back in the car within about a week's time, based on this paint. And then once that's done, we'll move to the outside. So all these real quick repairs that I did here on the roof, here on the A pillars for the roadworthy that I needed to get earlier this year, I'm going to try wet sanding this and try and blend it in. It's not going to be perfect, but you know, I've got this wedding coming up and I've got to get the car looking as decent as I can in that time. There was no structural rust in these areas. It was just basically moisture that had got under the paint and lifted the paint and just put some very light pitting into the metal, but there was actually nothing. I went around with a screwdriver and tested everything. There was nothing, no holes in there whatsoever. So yeah, this was just a really rough spray job, so that the roadworthy tester couldn't fault the car as having rust in it. These come up quite good. I think once this is rubbed back here and blended, you can just sort of see a slight line there where the clear coat is, but once that's all sanded, wet sanded and then polished, I think the posts will come up okay. They were never perfect because of all this body deadener they put in. They never really did a good job with it to begin with, so it's all pretty dodgy the whole way along, to be honest. But somewhere down the track, when I look at doing something more serious with the body on this thing, we'll address all these issues. But at the moment, the car's structurally sound, it's presentable, it's a survivor, and I don't really want to go doing a whole strip down on this thing like a rotisserie restoration. I want to leave it a survivor car, but I want to just have a few areas cleaned up on it. So so yes, we'll get this done. We'll get all this wet sanded, and then once all that's done, we'll give the car a really good wash, get off any polish residue, whatever. Then we'll come down here and we'll do these sills. I don't want to put the rocker trims back on yet, because when I actually took them off, there was a lot of polish residue underneath them on both sides, so I don't want the same thing happening again. So we'll just leave that clean, and once everything's been washed, then we'll put all the new clips on and put the trims back on. Then what? Then we're going to attack the wheels. We're going to give the rims a bit of a polish. As you can see, they're sort of painted white in here and in here, but all the rest of it is alloy. So I'm going to give that a good polish and get them up to spec, the scratch. I've got some of these splash panel rubbers, new rubber set that I can put in there, but for the moment they're still pretty good. So yeah, we'll look at those at a later date. And then under the hood here, so we've got a few little things that we're gonna do here. But one of the first things that I did the other week was I put a recovery bottle on here. The XBs never came out with them. It was the XC onwards that came out with a radiator recovery bottle. But I was sick of seeing my coolant on a hot summer's day all over the road, so now I'm going to catch the bloody stuff and yeah, not waste it. So a couple of other things I've done in here is I've put an original or reproduction battery clamp on there, which just makes it look, you know, period correct. The other thing I'm going to do is, this is not the original motor in the car. I have the original motor on an engine stand. This was a changeover motor, fully rebuilt for gas, so stainless steel valve guides and all that sort of stuff in it. So this engine will eventually go into the Studebaker, and the original engine for this that's on the stand will get a rebuild and go back in. But for now, this engine's been in here nearly 20 years now, but for now what I want to do is I want to get rid of all these heater hoses that are laying across the engine block, and I basically want to run them along the top of the head and then run them at right angles and then right angles, and just make it look all neat again. I've got a set of original Ford rocker covers that have been painted in the correct OEM orange to go on there. I've got a can of paint to paint the intake manifold. This LPG, I'm not sure what they call these. What do they call them? An arm or a horn or something like that. This one I'm going to clean it up a bit. And I'm going to paint this in the same colour blue that the air cleaners, the original Ford air cleaners, were painted in. Just to sort of, you know, give it that, like, you know, it looks like I'm making an effort to make it original. So we'll do that. We'll paint up the brake booster. We'll paint up all the bracketry and aircon compressor. We're just going to neaten it all up and make it look neat and tidy. It'll be easier for me to do a tune-up on it, because at this point in time I can't even get down in there to get to the plugs, to change the plugs. This side, no problem. This side, if it's an air-conditioned car, it's a goddamn nightmare. So I want to get rid of as much of this stuff as I can and get it all over onto this side. And yeah, just make it look nice, you know, repaint the top of the radiator here. Most of this doesn't need to be painted, it just needs a really good degrease and scrub. The paint underneath, you know, this has never been in a accident, so all the radiator support black is the original black on the car. And engine bay too, the sides of the engine bay and the towers and stuff, they come up really good with a clean. Like, I've seen some engine bays and they're badly stained. This one's not. It just has something down here. I don't know what this is. It's been there ever since the car's been in my family. It could have been something dripped on it from the assembly line, I don't know, but that's about the only bad stain in the entire engine bay. So yeah, so as you can see, new headlights, new driving lights. I've got some new rubbers coming for the overriders. So yeah, that's about it for now. So we'll pick up on the video tomorrow and see where we get to.